Good morning, guys. How are you doing this morning? Handing over the conversation to you now.
Yeah. Beautiful morning to you too, Veronica. As beautiful as yourself.
Exactly. Good morning, Veronica, and good morning, team. Yeah,
good morning.
There was so much on the table this morning. Let's first, how did it go? Having to consider the defection and the letter, what I call the love letter to the president, and the reaction from the president.
The political scene is getting interesting. That is one thing that is undeniable. And the defections, is everybody's right to defect to whichever party. It is left for your party.
Free entry and free exit.
It's left for your party, to put in the competitive advantage to hold his member and attract new members. So I see nothing wrong in what they're doing. It's left for the party to do its job.
We expect so much unveiling by our guests this morning. Now let's give you what we have. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Monday edition of TVC Breakfast Show. And this segment is reaching you live from our Abuja studio. In Delta State, political dynamics are shifting dramatically as the 2027 elections approach. A significant number of prominent figures from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have defected to the All Progressives Congress, APC, signaling a major realignment of power in the states. In a series of high-profile defections, over 5,000 PDP members have joined the APC, citing internal crisis and dissatisfaction with the leadership of the opposition party. But while the PDP may still be ruminating and counting their losses, a group of concerned Nigerians in a press statement over the weekend said democracy is under threat. They accused President Bola Tinubu of, quotes, a calculated and systematic effort by the administration to dismantle the democratic foundations of our republic, end of quotes.
The recent defection of the immediate past governor of Delta State and vice presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 elections, ex-governor Ifeanyi Okowa, and the incumbent governor of Delta State, Sheriff Uverewori, led the pack of defectors in the oil-rich Niger Delta State. With the movement of the governor alongside all his appointees and the collapse of the PDP structure into the ruling All Progressives Congress, has this movement weakened the PDP stronghold in Delta State? That is one question begging for an answer. But as the political landscape in Delta State continues to evolve, all eyes will be on the upcoming election to see how these shifts will impact the balance of power in the state and across Nigeria. For more on this political realignment, let's bring in Comrade Victor Oje, who just resigned his appointment as Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Delta State on Civil Societies and NGOs. He joins us via Zoom from Asaba. And here in the studio, we have a two-term commissioner in Delta State, a public policy analyst and democracy advocate, Magnus Oyibe. Gentlemen, it's good to have you on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Mr. OJ, I'll begin with you. It feels like your resignation is more about being fed up with poor governance and not just the governor joining the APC. Can you tell us what is really going on behind the scenes in Delta State that the public might not be seeing?
First, with profound respect to the current governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sheriff Uverewori, and His Excellency Ifeanyi Okowa, both of whom gave me the capacity and privilege to serve the people of Delta State. I see this migration today as politics of betrayal to the people of Delta State. Because during the campaign, we campaigned with the more agenda to the people of Delta State. The more means meaningful development, opportunities for all, realistic reform, and enhanced peace and security. But today, what we experience in Delta State is not what the agenda that we hopefully campaigned for the people of Delta State. We campaigned that we are going to protect them. We campaign that we are going to speak for them. We are going to be their voice. We are going to ensure that there is good governance. But today, as I speak, armed robbery is on the increment. Kidnapping is on the increment. A lot of crises are going on in the states. And these insecurities are not given attention by the current leadership of the PDP. here in Delta State. And politics, like I said, democracy is all about the people, the people's interests. The people of Delta State, they were not consulted. We slept as PDP, we woke up as APC, which obviously is a politics of betrayal. My loyalty is to the people of Delta State, not to politicians that has selfish interests as against collective interests. I am not going to be part of political migration for political gain.
All right. All right, Mr. OJ, Mr. OJ.
That is why I had to resign.
Okay.
To stand with the people of Delta State.
Okay, Mr. OJ, just take this from me. You resigned, I think, on the 25th of this month because the governor and his team defected. Now, you were also appointed in 2023, I suppose, and that is about 2 years span. You just talked about the lack of the provision of dividends of democracy in the state. At what point did you realize that the governor has failed in his responsibility? You stayed up for 2 years, and only when he defected, you now realize that he has not provided what he promised. I'd like you to help explain. Why did you hold on in government up to this very moment?
Sir, I'm popularly called One Box Nigeria. I'm the lead activist for Young Nigerian Rights Organization here in Delta State. I'm the PRO before my appointment to the Coalition of Civil Societies. If you go and investigate even my digital footprint on my Facebook, you will find out that I don't respond or make publications as a political appointee. I always stand on the people's side. I always create awareness of insecurity. I even went ahead to create a platform called Save Delta State Platform, a platform that has a conglomeration of the police, the DSS, the Hunters Association, the Civil Defense, anti-courts, vigilantes. In this platform, you also have Deltans that are non-state actors. What do we do here? In the 25 local governments of Delta States, we share security information with each other. We work with the police. We synergize to see how we can protect the state while the insecurity was increasing. But then the police doesn't have the support that they need. In Delta State, sir, we have just one.
Mr. OJ, you didn't get my question.
We have,
Mr. OJ,
most police stations don't have patrol vehicle.
Mr. OJ,
has to
I'd like you to listen to my question, please.
Daily patrol.
I'd like you to listen to my question. If the governor had not defected from the PDP into the APC, you wouldn't have accused the government of non-performance, I suppose. That's what I want to get very right. Because we started hearing that non-performance because the governor defected.
On my Facebook, my social media handles, One Box Nigeria, I've been campaigning, go and investigate. Before now, more than a year and that things are not going right. We've been proposing security advices. We've been proposing security solutions, not use of non-kinetic means of tackling insecurity by way of installation of CCTV cameras that are AI-powered, AI-driven in the governed and ungoverned region. I was even threatened that I was going to be sacked. I was even threatened by SMS, but my colleagues, they were always threatening me that they are going to ensure that they lead the campaign for my resignation or my sack. I always stood on the part of the people. I always stood with Deltans. Go to my page, you will see my advocacies for over a year. I am a socio-political activist. I am not a career politician. I am a socio-political activist here in Delta State. Likes of Femi Falana, Gani Fawayemi, Fela Kuti. That is the ideology I have. I am a socio-political activist with an ideology. Go and investigate.
We hear you, Mr. OJ. We hear you, Mr. OJ. We'll come to you shortly. Just hold that thought. And Mr. Oyibe, we are in a democracy, and then everyone has the right to switch parties whenever they so pleased to. But why does it seem that Governor Oberere's move to the APC is causing so much noise?
Thanks for having me. I'm really surprised at this. And from what I gather from what my colleague had just said, he's focused on insecurity, and he's peeved that the proposals he has given the government with respect to checking insecurity had not been implemented. So his angst is not actually about Governor Borowere and PDP in Delta State transiting to APC. It's about they are not accepting his proposal and implementing the same from what he had just said himself. So it's not because there was a transition. Now, as we all know, politicians engage in horse trading. And there's a dictum in politics. There's always no permanent friend or enemy, but permanent interest. Governor Oborowere and the PDP people in Delta State are interested in the greater good of the people of Delta State. And they have found out that PDP, as it is right now, is a sinking ship, and they decided to bail out. It's a reasonable thing to do, as far as I'm concerned. That's what politicians are geared for. That's what they are wired for. They do horse trading. They negotiate in the best interest of their people. And they have found out that being in APC would help them achieve the objectives that are set out to better the interest of the people of Delta State. So I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a normal practice in the course of executing their business of being politicians. What has happened is, probably stunning the rest of the people in Nigeria, because they were expecting that it would be business as usual, that a coalition of opposition parties will come together as they did in 2013 and flush out PDP in 2015, that the same pattern of things would happen in 2025. But it would appear as if the APC, led by the incumbent president, has pulled out some arrows from his quivers that are very potent and surprising to a lot of people. What they were expecting was that, he will begin to fight the opposition that are going to come together to oppose him. But he has seen that coming, and he has come up with a different strategy altogether. As far as I'm concerned, what he has just done in the business world is called opposition takeover, hostile takeover of the opposition. What they did in 2013, as far as I'm concerned, is like mergers and acquisition, because 4 or 5 different political parties came together voluntarily to yield themselves to one particular party called APC. But what is happening right now in 2025 is a hostile takeover. The APC has noticed that there are weaknesses in the PDP, which started a long time ago, so 2010, started rotting. And they have seen that there is value left on the table because PDP, having been a previous party at the center leading this country, had a lot of spread of voters and members across the country. But because of the schism within the party, led by the FCT minister, Mr. Wiki, and the rest of the people, that things have gone very bad for them. And APC is taking advantage. And because politics is about survival of the fittest, just like the jungle, the PDP in Delta State have realized that if they continue to remain under the umbrella of PDP, they will be disadvantaged greatly. Right. And they decided to take the best opportunity, and they jumped ship to where the ship is not sinking.
Well,
so it's a natural expectation.
That conversation, but that will be right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amaka Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman.
I'm a Jabite and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of your view are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
We're glad to have you back. You're still watching TVC Breakfast, and we're live from our Abuja studio. We're still discussing the wave of defections that we have with us on the program, Victor OJ and Magnus Oyibe with us on the program. Now, you want to go?
Yeah, Mr. Oyibe, you said this defection is just a normal thing. APC had its own way in 2015. But some persons don't see it as being normal. They see all these as attempts to kill democracy. As a matter of fact, what is democracy without opposition? When you have opposition leaders defecting, are we heading towards a one-party state, considering the letter written by 17 concerned Nigerians, where they said democracy under threat under President Tinubu? What is your thought on this?
You know, what is happening is political evolution. It's a necessary process that the democracy in Nigeria has to pass through. We are always afraid of the unknown. If the country becomes a one-party state, there are merits in one-party state. There are also demerits, just as there are merits in multi-party states and demerits. Now, if we go through this process, it actually becomes a one-party state. It will come to a situation where the ruling party will have opposition within it. That's what probably happened to the PDP that was there for 16 years, and they were boasting that they were going to be there for 60 years. And in 16 years, they went bust. There was an implosion. So APC has been there for, going to be 10 years soon. The Buhari government was there for 8 years. The Tinubu administration has been there. In the next few days, it will be 2 years, so it will be 10 years. They probably have it to 2027, which will be 16 years. And if they don't take care of the internal issues, there'll be implosion. Because if there's a weak opposition, the opposition will begin to exist within the APC itself. And if one-party state democracy is not what is the correct thing for Nigeria, there'll be a big bang. I'm sure you know the story of the Big Bang, when the force came together and it created multiple and stuff like that. So if one-party state democracy is not what's ideal for us, the evolution will come through. So it's a natural phenomenon. We should not be afraid of what we don't know by just believing in conjectures. We haven't practiced it. We don't know what the other side is. There are countries that are practicing one-party state, and there are countries that are practicing multiple-party states. And I don't think it's the type of democracy that they practice that determines the success that they have. Let's use the U.S., for instance. The U.S. is a successful country. It's the biggest country in the world. It has about nearly 20 trillion GDP economy. China is one-party state. The U.S. is multi-party state. But China is also doing very well. People are speculating that China may overtake the U.S. in the next few years and stuff like that and whatever. So it's not the practice That's the issue. But it's the leadership, the skills of the leader to be able to harness and manage. Take Saudi Arabia, for instance. It's a monarchy, but it's a successful country, you know, and stuff like that. So let us not be fixated on one-party state capture, and all those kind of things that they are saying. It's an evolution. At a point when we first started, if you remember, that the end thing in politics was that somebody would be impeached. Obasanjo was threatened by impeachment consistently. In fact, that's why we don't have state police today. Because when he first proposed state police, politicians started threatening to impeach him. And now we're in this quandary because, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have state police. But,
all right, we'll come back to you, Mr. Muyibi. Mr. OJ.
I'm here.
All right. I believe when you accepted your role as a special assistant to the governor, you did believe that you could drive a change. Now that you're stepping away, don't you think you're doing this too soon? And if the system is broken, don't you think it's just fair enough that you stay behind to fix it? Or do you think that it's too broken to fix?
It's not too broken to fix, and we are going to fix it, whether we are in government or we are outside government. As watchdogs, as advocates, we are going to fix it. I refuse to sell my conscience, like my fellow guests said, that politics is all about horse trading. Politics is all about interest. No, politics is all about solving the people's problem. You are there as a politician to represent the people's mandate, the people's interest. You are there, you promise the people that you came with a social contract to your people. You came with a social contract to the people of Delta State, the more agenda. Today, you have not fulfilled, not even one. I recall, during the era of Awolowo, we recall what Awolowo did in education sector, free education, people-oriented advocacies. The People's Redemption Party did a lot for our farmers. Our farmers became very wealthy during the era of the People's Redemption Party in Kaduna and Kano states. We also saw what happened in a Midwestern region by Denis Osadebe. In less than 3 years, we had Asaba Textile Mill, we had Bender Textile Mill, we had Upila Cement Industry, we had the foundation of University of Benin and Aochi Polytechnic late. What about Michael Opara, who set up the current today main market and also planted generational fruits of palm nuts that till date, the people from Imo State in Bise, they are still reaping from what he invested in. Politics is all about solving people's problem, not your selfish gain. We all know the truth that Delta State was targeted by the APC leadership because of the misappropriation of 1.3 trillion naira, the Sopadec funds that is still under investigation at the EFCC, of which we know that Adam Soshomole made it very clear that when you come to APC, your sins are forgiven. That is what is going to happen. Nobody is going to talk about the 1.3 trillion anymore. Nyesom Wike is a man. He's a bold man. He's a courageous man. He was a governor under President Buhari for 8 years, and he stood as a man. Till date, Nyesom Wike is still standing. Nyesom Wike today is in alignment with APC government, despite being a member of PDP, because he was betrayed by the PDP. Okay. Nyesom Wike did a lot of investment in PDP. He did a lot. People went Sokoto, Tambuwa, Governor Tambuwa, market got burned.
All right,
Nyesom Wike supported, facilitated the development. What I'm saying is that we are Deltans. Our slogan is the big heart. We are men that has balls within our leg.
All right, Comrade Victor. Comrade Victor.
Issue with presidency. So he should have stood with the people of Delta State. He should have consulted the people of Delta State before migration into the APC one-party state that we are being
All right, Comrade Victor. Let me come to you again with this particular perspective. Now, can we also look at your party, the PDP, instead of blaming the other camp for the crisis and the many defections in your party? Have you thought about the role your party played or your party is playing in the present internal crisis? For instance, you have a governor in Rivers State that's been in crisis for so long, and your party has not come out to save this governor, how would you think people will view such a party that's refused as an NWC to sanction Wike or to call Atiku to order? Does that show strength or weakness of a political party?
We all know the truth that the current FCT minister, His Excellency Jason Wike, did a lot of investment in PDP. That is why he is more in control of the leadership of the PDP. That is why he is so courageous, because he knows that he has invested so much in people-oriented advocacy with respect to politics. That is why he's still standing tall. That is why nobody can push him out from the PDP. We all know. And we expected our own governor to stand tall, just like Nyesom Wike is still doing to date. We are from Delta State. We don't give in to fear. We are bold. We are courageous. Since 1999 till today that they are migrating to APC, we have been a PDP tradition state. Why now? Why now? Governor Fubara is having issues because the presidency are not in one position with him. That is why he's having issue, and that is why he's not going to succeed as a PDP governor. We all know that as soon as he resumes, that he's going to convert Rivers State to APC.
Oh, really?
We already know that the plot is in play, but it is unfair, because when our current president, whom I respect so much, whom I'm a fan of, I've been a fan of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the 90s. He was the first man to install the first IPP. He advocated for land matters, beautification and tourism, physical planning, local government elections. While he was the governor of Lagos State, he was an AD man. Ex-Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was his Attorney General. And Yemi Osinbajo won all these court cases, all these advocacies for the interest of Nigerians. But what he is doing today, by way of manipulating the PDP state to be converted into APC state, is something I'm not proud of. It's something that is going to lead to crisis if care is not taken.
All right.
I don't key what is going on now, the one-party state of the south of Nigeria. Why are they now making it to look as if it is now the north against the south? Because that is the narrative they are selling to our people here in Delta State. That we have to come together as south of Nigeria to battle with the north. Why? Do you have to go to battle with the north if the welfare of the people of the north are well taken care of? Look at other clients like Europe. Look at Canada, that our people visit, our leaders visit. Don't you see the welfare system there? What about the social dimension of crime control? All this crime we are having, all this kidnapping, if we have a welfare system in Nigeria, we will not have all this crime.
All right, Mr. OJ, I would like you to hold that thought.
The government take care of their people.
We'll come back to you very shortly.
Even when they are not a German.
Mr. Oyibe, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Peter Obi was Atiku's running mate in the 2019 elections. He left the party. And now former Governor Okowa was also a running mate to Atiku Abubakar. He has also left the party. Do you think Atiku himself is a problem in this situation that is also driving the top players out of the party? Do you think he also has a role to play in this regard?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The party has a problem. Anybody insinuating that the APC is manipulating the PDP is totally wrong. The truth is that when Wike, as the other guest mentioned, got disillusioned because he was disappointed, decided to start working against PDP while he was inside PDP, it was not APC that caused it. It was a PDP internal schism that led to that. And he has continued to walk along those directions. PDP is a lame party right now. It's like a lion looking at a pride of animals, like antelopes. The lion will go after the one that has a limp, that has a bad leg that he can chase after and just pounce on. PDP is lame right now, so it's easy for APC to pounce on it. As I said, what has happened is a hostile takeover. It's not like 2013 when there was mergers and acquisition, when 5 political parties or 4 political parties came together voluntarily and decided to come under a platform called APC. This one is such that the APC has looked at PDP and has seen that PDP is weak, and they have decided to poach. They have just poached Delta State. I believe that more will be coming. It doesn't have anything to do with APC. APC is trying to expand its ground, its influence, and PDP has become a prey because it made itself weak. If, when all this schism started, PDP fixed its house by, attending to Wike's demands, maybe it would have been a stronger party. If the cataclysm that has engulfed the place was not in existence, they would not be, easily cherry-picked by APC. So I think, that the problem is already there. The guest was mentioning what Awo did and what Okpara did and all that stuff and whatever. In those times, we're in a very primary level of development, right? So the current governors are probably building roads, they're building schools, they're building other things. It cannot be what those people did back in those days. We keep romanticizing about granite pyramids, cotton pyramids, and all that and all that. We all know that that's not important anymore because there are pyramids where you cannot process granite, but there are granite processing plants right now, so they shouldn't be pyramids. There are pyramids when peanuts, and other things could not be, cotton and stuff like that and whatever. So, but the evolution has taken place that a bit of industrialization has occurred in Nigeria right now. So some of these things are being processed. So there's no cocoa pyramid, there's no whatever pyramid. So the development needs of Nigerians right now is not the sort that the people in the past did. But in response to what he just said, Awolowo introduced free education. Tinubu has just introduced NEFUND. NEFUND is democratizing university education in Nigeria. It was a big problem. A lot of potential Einsteins exist in Nigeria who could not go beyond secondary school because their parents couldn't pay the school fees. But right now, as soon as you get your school certificate and you can be admitted into a university, you approach NEFUND, they will pay and they will give you stipends. What that means is that Nigeria will have a pool of intellectual, educated, well-skilled people that would enable it compete with the rest of the world. India is a major country today because of the net quantum of skills and talent that it exports outside of India. In fact, the major CEOs and CTOs of Fortune 500 companies in the world, up to the first 10, are led by Indians.
All right.
The reason China can compete and almost outpace the United States right now is the pool of skilled, educated, talented people collectively in China right now,
all right,
as compared to the US.
Thank you, Mr. Onyibe. Comrade Victor, now, what do you think? Comrade Victor, are you there? Okay. What do you think your party, the PDP, can do to stem the tide of defection? Can the NWC be woken up to begin to act and ensure that you don't have such hemorrhage in your party?
The fact remains that the vacuum currently is too deep. The only way out is a coalition. That is the only way out. The people must come together to organize themselves. The people must come together to supervise themselves and administer themselves. That come 2027, the voice of Nigerians will be heard. The voice of Deltans will be heard. Those Deltans that their security was neglected, despite the primary aim of government is the welfare and security of its people. Come 2027, our voices will be heard. Of course, there is going to still be a coalition that will challenge the current leadership of APC. And we are going to be part of that coalition because the vacuum that is current in the current Delta State PDP, due to this move that is going on today here in Asaba, that the Vice President Shetima is to receive them to the APC, the vacuum is deep.
All right. Now, one final question from me before I let you go, because we're running out of time, Mr. OJ. Mr. OJ, just one quick thought. How do you continue your advocacy now that you have left, you're out of government? How do you continue your advocacy without being within? Wouldn't that be a bit difficult for you? I just need you to answer me that in 10 seconds.
It will not be difficult for me because I've been doing this for over 12 years before I even got into the government. I've been advocating for our people here in Delta State and outside Delta State. So it's not going to stop me from advocating for good governance, for investigating corrupt practices in civil service. It's not going to stop us.
Thank you, Victor OJ, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program this morning. It was a delight, Mr. Oyibe. Sorry. It was a delight speaking with you this morning. And Mr. OJ, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Exactly.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Nigeria's politics is nothing short of drama, as you see, but there are real issues that are affecting real people, and we hope that our conversation today gets you thinking. Well, that's where we'll leave our conversation today. We'll hand you over to our Lagos studio, where Veronica and the rest of the crew are standing by